I say, like, anybody can get money or make money or whatever, but what do you do with it? I don't think I was a genius. I just had the cojones to do it. I don't think most people would buy a 20 unit, a 19 unit, and a 61 unit in a year without having that much before.
I always say multifamily is a game playing Monopoly. It is 100% for appreciation. Multifamily, though, is a asset class that is not a cash flowing asset class. Did you know next year, 2025, there's 20,173 units coming online, multifamily units?
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Chris Salerno Show, your go-to for real estate, business, health, and family insight. I'm Chris Salerno, CEO of QC Capital. Each episode, we explore the latest trends and expert advice from industry leaders. Whether you're an investor, entrepreneur, or seeking balance, this show provides an inspiration you need. Join us and elevate your game on the Chris Salerno Show.
Welcome to the Chris Salerno Show. I am your host, Chris Salerno. Very excited to have Phil on the show. Phil's a longtime friend. We've known each other for how long? 5, maybe?
Something like that.
Yeah, because we first met through GoBundance,
Yeah.
which if you guys don't know GoBundance, I'm not in GoBundance. Are you still in it?
Not anymore.
No, a lot of people left. But it is a
lot
great...
of people joined back, though.
Yeah, it is a great group. It's a group of ultra-high achievers, ultra-high net worth individuals who like to get together, do outdoor activities, but also mastermind. I'm not a spokesperson, nor are they sponsoring this, but it is a good group. If you guys have, thought about checking it out, thought about surrounding yourself with high achievers, check out GoBundance. Kudos to them, because if it wasn't for GoBundance,
we wouldn't have met.
No, we wouldn't have met. We probably would have in the Charlotte space, but thank you for GoBundance on that. Before GoBundance, before being able to get in,
we might have actually met through that deal.
Which one?
That apartment.
Oh, is that Pines on Windover?
Yes,
that's the first ever apartment.
We actually
complex.
might have met because of that. I can't remember.
Yeah, because you invested in
was,
that.
Yeah, and that wasn't through GoBundance. That was more. I heard it through Bigger Pockets podcast.
Yeah, so that's
funny.
Yeah, that's really funny because that deal was the first deal I ever done in the multifamily space. Yeah. We sold at the right time. Yeah, which is nice. Yeah. So we would have connected anyway because you're here in Charlotte, which is great. But let's start back to childhood. I always like to bring it back to childhood because I want the listeners and viewers to hear, from childhood to where you're at today so they can really resonate with your story. So talk to us about where you grew up, high school, college. Walk us through that.
Okay. Grew up in the D.C. area, Bethesda, Maryland, right outside of D.C., and have 3 siblings and 2 step siblings.
Nice.
So when I was 6, my mom passed away.
Okay. Sorry to hear about that.
Yep. And then when I was 6 or 8, my dad remarried. So then 2 step siblings. So there were 6 kids, 2 parents.
That's a lot.
It was a lot.
Where were you at in the middle of it?
I was the youngest, and then one younger stepbrother.
Okay.
By like 9 months.
Okay.
A year younger in school.
Nice.
So there was always craziness growing up.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah. And I think at one point, I think in 5th grade, all 6 of us were in different schools.
Oh, really?
So it was like some were in different schools for behavior, some were just older or younger or whatever. But yeah, all 6 of us were in different schools. So just to get a picture, it was a little wild.
Oh, I bet.
Household.
Was mom or stepmom entrepreneur mindset driven at all?
My dad.
Your dad was?
Yeah, my dad's self-employed. He's an attorney. Now he's a realtor.
Nice.
But growing up, he was a self-employed attorney. Worked in an office and then came home.
Yeah.
So he'd work from home, and that was I do actually. Some of that is kind of a lot of it probably where I got it from.
I was going to say, is that instilled in you?
I think some of it.
Yeah.
Maybe not the investing part, but definitely the want to be self-employed. Because we go to Florida, and we could go for a week, and he'd still maybe work some while we were there.
Yeah, he'll have his phone, or maybe have to pop up the laptop, early mornings or stuff to check on things.
But I could still see the flexibility, and then he was always at our sporting events and we wrestled.
How are you compared to the other 6 siblings? I will tell you, like my siblings is night and day difference. Like I always say, I was adopted. Like they switched me at babies because if you put us all together, huge different mindset, huge different drive, motivation compared to myself and them. How are you with your siblings?
Yeah, we're definitely a lot different.
Yeah.
But I guess as we've gotten older, we've come closer.
Mm-hmm.
My 2 oldest brothers went kind of off. I don't know, a little wild.
A little wild.
Whereas I did go to Florida State, so that was a little.
Oh,
wild.
I'm so sorry. I'm a Gator fan, so.
Yeah, well, it was good last year. This year, I don't know.
I'll make an exception because I love you. I don't know. I don't know how they've done recently. But has Florida State been good?
It's been terrible.
Really?
Their football team. Their basketball
Didn't they
okay.
just recently play the Gators?
Yeah.
Who won?
They lost. Florida State.
Oh, good. So Gators won.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. I don't follow
that's
it.
How
but
much
kudos.
you follow it.
I know, right? I'm a big F1 fan now.
Okay.
Love Formula One.
Nice.
So you saw the difference, and now as you guys got older, you guys are coming more together.
I think I learned a lot from my siblings of what not to do.
Yeah, that's how my childhood was.
Kept kind of straight. My sister and I were closer. We were 13 months apart, and we were more, not necessarily A students, but B. We did good.
Yeah,
we did good. We didn't get in trouble.
Good.
I mean, we did some stuff that wasn't right, but we usually didn't get in trouble.
Yeah, well, that's good. That's always good. And so, talk to us about the journey of the first entrepreneurial, venture that you did.
Honestly, I think it was growing up. I was always trying to sell different things.
Yeah,
I remember making postcards or shovel snow. So in Maryland, it snowed a lot. So I was always out there shoveling for $20.
That's a good little side hustle
hours, but
for young kids.
Yeah, 10, 11, whatever, however old I was. It was great.
Yeah, people need to get to work
in a day. And
that's hard labor too.
Yeah, it'd be easier now that I'm a lot bigger. But back when I was 100 pounds,
and back then, I mean, they had snow plows, but not like they do today.
No, we were shoveling it, shoveling a couple, whatever. It was a lot, but and then this is kind of funny, but we had those world's finest chocolate bars.
Okay, yeah.
And so we'd sell those for wrestling.
Yeah.
And
I
guess
remember
it's
that.
kind of entrepreneurial, kind of not right, but my cousin and I would cover up the dollar and we'd sell them for like $1.25 or $1.50. I think the idea was we were going to keep the rest.
Keep the difference.
Yeah.
I don't blame you.
So it's not quite right, but I think at the time we didn't really realize it was like scamming people.
Well, my biggest thing is like what a lot of people don't realize, because some of that stuff goes, that money you collect, they will reward you with a trip or something like that.
Maybe. I think I just went to the team for uniform.
Which is great. A lot of times is like that stuff will be set for donations and they get a tax write-off, the school does. Yeah. So it's okay that you do that. One thing I found out is, when you go to a grocery store, when you go to Target, they ask you if you want to round up.
Oh, yeah.
Have you looked into that?
I just usually say no, thank you.
Yeah, I always say no. But I've looked into it because I get asked at every damn grocery store. So what that is they've actually made substantial amount of profits from that. And what they do is that Target, those grocery stores will actually make donations, and then to recoup their money, they go ahead and ask you to round up. Now, guess who still gets the tax benefits?
They do.
They do, but they get to recoup their money because you just donated to them.
That's weird.
Yeah.
I always thought, and I haven't done it, but I always thought the roundup went to those organizations. That's kind of...
Yeah. It did in theory because they invested into those organizations to get the tax benefits.
That's crazy.
And then you're just rounding up, which they make a crazy ton profit on, and they still get the huge tax benefit that they donated. That's why every grocery store and every company really asks you, hey, do you want to round up for that?
That's crazy.
It's wild.
I feel like it takes away from the giving. Like the purpose of giving is because you're giving without receiving back.
Correct. But these large corporations don't care.
Oh, goodness.
It's all about profit. So if they can go ahead and maximize their tax benefit by giving to a corporation and then asking you to round up your eggs, and up to the single digit, boom, there you go. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. So you built that type of mindset and drive early on. Walk us through, college days and what you wanted to be after that. Yeah. Because I want to get to 2011 when you started venturing into real estate.
Okay. Oh yeah, I was gonna say also I wrestled growing up. I think that's it's hard.
I love wrestling. I wrestled in high school.
Yeah, I wasn't good until 9th grade, 10th grade. So I got beat up a lot as I was younger, and then I finally started to. But that taught discipline and work ethic. And
I love wrestling because you can't blame anyone else.
Yeah.
If you suck, you suck.
Right. And
like
I did
it's you
for a long time.
Yeah. And you can't say, oh, it's so and so. No, it's you. You suck. And that's why I loved wrestling is that it's all on you as an individual.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in there, and then went to Florida State, like I said, and it was one of the things was it was warm in Florida, obviously, but it was also further from home, and it was just the chaos of home. I am friends. I love all my family now, but at the time it was like, I got to get out of here. I do not want to go anywhere close to home. Sorry, I'm out.
Yeah.
And so I went to Florida State and just was on my own, literally just knocking. Hey, I'm Phil. Good to meet you. You know, I didn't know anybody there. So just had to get out there and meet people.
Wow.
And so that was fun. I did meet people, joined a fraternity.
Oh, yeah.
I had the nickname Fraternity Phil.
Why is that? How'd that come about?
I don't totally know. Maybe I partied a little bit, but we all did. So that's where I don't. Maybe because it just rolled off.
I bet FSU parties are wild.
It was pretty crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
I have calmed down since then. I would say I haven't drank in a little while now.
That's
but
good. Florida women are wild. I know that for a fact. I'm from Florida, so I'm sure those FSU parties were pretty wild.
Yeah. It was, and that's what our fraternity got kicked off campus my sophomore year.
I feel like every fraternity at least once did.
Like the good ones do. That's what we said.
I know. I went to Winthrop, and what was it? Kappa Sigma.
Okay, we had them.
Yeah, they got kicked off very quickly, like a year after. And I remember they wanted me to, pledge or go to be one. And I was thinking to myself, well, I get invited to all the parties, get invited to all the events. Why am I going to join? Yep. I'm already technically, I get to go to the fun stuff.
Yeah.
So I never ended up joining. But yeah, I remember shortly after they got kicked off.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of them do.
Yeah. That's what, it wasn't fun. That wasn't fun, but I mean,
so you went to college to enjoy college.
To enjoy it, and then so I went to. I started as a physical therapy major, but my plan wasn't like, oh, I'm going to be a physical therapist. My plan was I'm going to be a physical therapist, and then I want to open up offices, 1, 2, whatever. That was like in my head. I don't know what that took. It was just like, I know I want to be a business owner.
For sure.
So then I was doing that, and I think in my junior year, I was pretty far in it. I was taking like anatomy 2, and I was like, I really just don't care about the 4 muscles in your thumb, and I don't know if I want to be a physical therapist anymore. So I was going to just finish up and then like go get an MBA or something after. And my dad was like, well, why don't you just switch majors? It's cheaper to do undergrad more credits than an MBA or whatever.
Oh, for sure.
So I dropped all my classes except for I had been doing a business minor. So I was in like a real estate course.
Yeah.
So that semester I had 1 class, and I was working at a bagel place. I got a job for whatever it was, $7 an hour.
There you go.
And then I switched to finance and then insurance.
Okay.
So I majored in insurance.
So getting out of college, you went straight into insurance, I assume.
Yeah, I went working at Northwestern Mutual.
Okay.
Life
insurance. Oh God.
Yep. Life and health.
They have it dialed in. I always get called because I'm fairly young. They have it dialed in to what age they want to target you. For life insurance.
Yeah.
They want the young ones.
Target anybody, but
yeah,
it's cheaper when you're young. So
it's cheaper when you're young because the reason why is because what are the chances you're going to die when you're young? Exactly. Not much, but if I'm 60, 70 years old, it's going to be a lot more expensive, or I may not be able to even get life insurance because I'm older.
Right.
But to me, it's like, okay, what's $1 million? 5 million they're going to give you because normal policies are $1 million. If you would know more,
you can get any. You can get 50,000.
Could you get 10 million? 20 million?
I think at some points you have to be worth a certain amount.
I was going to say, like, they're going to have to look at that and be like, okay. Yeah. I mean, it makes a certain extent, but I'm sure if you have 10, 15 million, are you still paying tax on that?
On the life insurance?
The life insurance. If it's 10 or 15 million?
It comes in tax free.
So it's tax free.
Or goes to whoever,
Yeah, I think it makes sense once you hit a certain net worth. To get like a large policy of like 10, 15, 20 million.
Yeah.
There's
a lot of reasons people get it.
For me right now, like $1 million, it's like, what's that?
I'm a fan of it. I feel like there's a craze. I don't know if you've had anybody on that's like all about the cash flow or the cash value life insurance. It's a craze right now.
Infinite banking.
Infinite banking.
It feels like everyone and their mom is an infinite banker.
And I like it. But I like my cash value life insurance more for like another bucket.
Yeah.
It's there. It's going to grow. I'm not sure that I'm a believer in like the infinite banking, like take your loan and pay down your car or pay down your house because it's then going to help grow because you still pay interest on that.
Correct.
And especially now that interest rates have gone up. For some of mine, I think it was like 7%, 6 to 7%.
It's gone
on the life
big.
insurance cash value.
That's
so
huge.
if you took a loan, I forget. So let's go with 6% even.
Yeah.
So that's more than 3 or 4 that it was.
Yeah,
several
that's
years
huge.
ago. So it's just not as like.
Does it fluctuate with the 10-year Treasury or the interest rates?
I forget what I think it. I don't know what it goes with.
Got it.
Yeah, it does fluctuate, but I'm not sure what.
7%, for it sitting in there, and then you can borrow against it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, but you pay that. Is what I'm saying.
You're paying 7%.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's if you take your money out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then what's the difference? Because normally there's like a 1 or 2 point difference that you're still making.
that they pay.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So if the interest rate's 6%, the dividend's like 5%.
Then it's 1%
then you're actually
making.
losing.
Oh, so you have to actually pay 1%.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So that's why the infinite making made sense when it was like 3 or 4%, and then the dividend or the cash value grew higher.
See, those infinite bankers didn't tell me you'd have to put money in if it's like that.
Right. And that's what I mean. So anyways, I like it as a cash reserve.
Yeah.
I
Insurance,
add a bunch
insurance,
to it.
in my opinion, is a good business or a good industry to be in because everyone needs it. You need car insurance. Banks make you take property insurance when you're dealing with commercial. So no matter what, you need insurance.
Yeah.
So it is always a necessity.
Yeah.
Which still sometimes for me, like I don't understand how. I understand insurance is pull everyone together and then they hope no one does a claim because then they'll have to pay out. But it just like with all these natural disasters and things like that, it's wild on how a lot of these insurance companies are still staying in business.
Yeah.
But there's also no regulation in insurance. Like our Florida sites, boom, skyrocketed.
Yeah.
50, 60,000 in premiums.
One of our apartments went from, I believe, around 15,000 to over 30.
That's crazy.
In a year.
Yeah.
We're like, well, the rents had gone up, but not that much, and then they actually went back down, and we're like stuck with this insurance.
Oh, it sucks. I every 6 months or a year I get my car insurance. They try to up you, and mine like doubled. And so I called
in North Carolina.
In North Carolina,
yeah,
so I
mine
called
went up
them,
too.
and I said, hey, like I had last time I got a ticket was like. It got thrown out, so that doesn't count. Probably, I was like, actually, I haven't even gotten a ticket. I've gotten all warnings, and I was so shocked. I was like, look, I have a perfect driving record. Yeah. Last time I got in an accident, it was someone else's fault. They hit me. Perfect driving record. Why did it, almost 3 times X my payment? Oh, well, that's North Carolina for you. And that's all they had to say. And I was like, are you shitting me?
Yeah.
So there's no.
So I don't know if they're offsetting other losses.
I'm sure they
in
are.
other states.
Oh hell yeah, they have to
that's
be.
The only thing I
because
think.
of like Florida, now Western North
Texas,
Carolina. Wait till we see the premiums next year.
Right.
After Western North Carolina, what happened there?
Yeah.
So I bet you they're trying to offset it because they pull everyone's money together and they divvy it up where they need to go to.
Yeah.
So they're offsetting it. But I was shocked. I was like, this is ridiculous. And then you think of there's really no governing body that says, hey, you can't price gouge. Right. It all depends on, is the competitor going cheaper?
Yeah.
Yeah. If so-and-so's going cheaper, we'll just all go there.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm not usually big on regulation, but sometimes, I don't know, I'm like,
I'm not big on regulation either. But I do think like, when premiums double and then no other group is willing to go into North Carolina and say, for example, you have Geico and Allstate, those are the only two. Well, if you're Geico and I'm Allstate, I'm going to call you up, Phil, and say, hey, look, you charge $1,500, I'll charge $1,525, and let's creep the prices up. Yeah. And then it's like, well, you have to get it. So what do? You're forced to either go with either or.
Right.
So I think in my opinion, again, I agree with you. I'm not big about, limiting people, but I think there needs to be some sort of ceiling here.
Yeah.
Because this is outrageous.
Yeah.
If I'm complaining about it, then
right. Yeah.
the average
the
Joe,
everyday person is definitely
how are they paying
That's
for
true.
it? It just doesn't make sense. Make sense.
Yeah.
So insurance is a great business. How long do you
so
stay
I
now?
did. Well, I had done an internship at Florida State with Northwestern Mutual, so that's kind of why I went into it. And then 9 months after college, I was still with them, and then I switched to work at Chase Bank.
Okay, I love
a banker.
I love.
I liked it. As a job, I had fun. I was a banker, so I just met with people and set up bank accounts and took some investments because I had like the investing and life insurance license or whatever,
cool.
so I could do mutual funds and stuff. That's kind of why it leewayed into that.
I love Chase. We bank with Chase. Chase is phenomenal.
Yeah, we've thought about we just opened an account there, but we haven't done much there.
I'm more than happy to introduce you to our banker.
Okay.
She texts me every time she goes on a vacation.
Nice.
She's like, let me know if you need anything. That's cool. And I always joke with her. I was like, I need more points from you guys on the credit card.
That's right.
But yeah, Chase has been phenomenal.
Yeah.
Great bank to bank with.
Yep.
They've definitely changed their presence. Everything's modern and sleek. I don't know if you've been in a Chase recently.
I haven't been.
No, yeah. And they're moving towards, thank God, they're moving towards more electronic. So if you want to open up an LLC, all I do is email her, and then, boom, I get an LLC open up. I sign the docs online. I don't have to go in and things like that.
Actually, we opened one recently for our building company, or development company.
Yeah.
And that's what, we did it all online with somebody. Do you know Eddie Workinger?
No.
Okay. He's in GoBundance, but he lives in Florida.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, he introduced me to somebody.
Yeah, I love it. So. Yeah, love it. So after Chase, where did it lead to?
Then we moved up here, and I got into real estate. Actually, I was working with Amway.
Okay.
I think we might have talked about it. Maybe not.
I think so.
Amway's at multi-level marketing. Some good, some bad. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it to people, but there were a lot of things that I learned and got out of it that I can't say it's like all bad.
All bad,
we didn't make any money. We were part of it for 7-8 years or whatever.
Yeah.
We were die hard. We were doing it.
You drank the Kool-Aid.
We were sold out. Yeah. And
I never got unhooked with any MLM. Like I was at so I worked at Carowinds, and I remember these people are like, "Hey, you have to come check out shop.com." And I was like, "Okay." So they took me to this beautiful home. I think it was somewhere in west side of Charlotte on the Lake Wiley side.
Yeah.
Huge home. And I'm sitting in this home, and they introduced the owners of the home. And they were mingling at first. So I went up to the owners. I said, "What do you guys do for a living?" And one was like, "I'm a doctor." And I was like, "Interesting. Okay." And I said, "So how do you have, do you have any correlation with shop.com?" "No, we're just hosting it because our friends asked." And I was like,
that's weird.
"All right, well, we're in a beautiful home, and you don't even have anything with shop.com.
Yeah.
So then they were selling us shop.com. Oh, it's going to be the best, the greatest, earn points, rewards, all that. So I raised my hand. I'm like, "So how are you guys planning on competing with Amazon?"
Right.
Dead silence.
And that's the issue.
And I was like, "Yeah, I said, "I'm going to leave." I said, "Thank you." And I walked out. I left early because I was like, it doesn't make sense. Shop.com is not going to compete with Amazon.
Right.
You're just not.
And that was the same way. Amway was online, and this was 2008 when I started, but so Amazon wasn't quite as big. But by now it's like, what? I'm not going to go buy it there. I'll buy it on Amazon and get it in 2 days, free shipping, whatever.
So I just got that Whoop band. We'll talk about health because I know you're big into health. So I just got that Whoop band to track my heart rate when I do cold plunges, meditate. I want to see how my heart
the biggest
reacts.
thing on that is the heart rate variability.
Yeah, that's what I've been reading about. And I just had a lady on my podcast, 2-time Harvard MBA. We talked about psychedelics.
Okay.
And she says that when she does a retreat, the individuals that have the Whoop band, she'll track their Whoop band for the first 3 weeks before and 3 weeks after to see the difference.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting. And so I want to track, how does my heart rate, be impacted during my cold plunges, during, my life, during everything. And when I was online, I was looking for a Whoop band that's basically an all-terrain type of, I can go to a cold plunge, things like that. I don't have to keep switching it out.
Right.
And I just went on Google to look at it. Amazon literally popped up with every little thing saying, I went to some website, the top 10 Whoop bands to look at, and it said buy on Amazon, buy on Amazon. Amazon is it's saturated everywhere.
Yeah.
It's very, you can't really compete with it.
Yep.
Even Temu's trying to.
Yeah.
But it's just not happening.
No, I don't think
so. So you got out of the MLM.
I got on I kind of got into real estate.
Yep.
So 2012.
What made you get into real estate? I mean, I know you dabbled in college.
I had read all the.
It.
So one of the good parts with Amway was we met some really good friends. The other one was I started reading books.
Yeah.
So success books. Read all the Robert Kiyosaki books.
I was gonna say Rich Dad Poor Dad,
Cash Flow Quadrant. I've read them all. I've read some of them twice. I'm like, oh, I read this already. My bad. But so I had read all the real estate. So that's what made me want to get into investing in real estate.
Interesting. Yeah.
And
A lot of people read Rich Dad Poor Dad and want to dive into it.
Yeah.
Where was the first eye-opening experience to say, okay, this is the route I'm going to go down?
For real estate?
Yeah.
I guess I went to go get my real estate license, even though you don't have to have that for investing.
Oh, yeah.
And then my brother and I got a local realtor to help us buy an investment property. We just, we had some down payment. And we said, all right, let's go buy an investment.
How many units was that?
It was just one townhouse. We started with a townhouse in Cornelius.
Nice.
Right near, it was kind of, the property was on the lake.
Yeah. And you rented that out. You did the Burr method.
We actually just rented it.
You just rented it.
It actually was furnished, so we rented it furnished before that.
Are you big into Airbnbs?
No, I haven't done any of them.
No, I'm not a big.
Yeah,
fan of them.
this was one guy rented it for a year, somebody else for like 2 months.
Yeah,
and then I think I just got rid of all the furniture and rented it regular.
Okay,
for a couple years.
So that was the first taste of actually renting, owning, doing the land,
doing the management. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
bought it for 156 grand.
Where did it then scale in your mind to say, okay, like I want to take this and go multifamily?
I think I had been listening to a bunch of Grant Cardone.
That's how I got
his Kool-Aid.
Yeah. Have you ever invested with Grant?
No.
No.
So yeah, I mean, we bought a duplex next, a couple single families, and then in 2016 is where we bought a 20 unit, a 19 unit, and a 61 unit apartment complex.
Nice.
So it was 100 units in a year. We got some family money, so I was like, all right, well, what better place to invest?
Most definitely.
Go into real estate.
For sure.
And I say, like, anybody can get money or make money or whatever, but what do you do with it? And I don't think I was a genius. I just had the cojones to do it.
Yeah.
I don't think most people would buy a 20 unit, a 19 unit, and a 61 unit in a year without having that much before.
Most definitely.
I just was like, I think it'll work. These numbers look good. I don't know. These places are kind of crummy, but let's do it.
Let's fix it up. Yeah.
I hope you're enjoying today's episode. Just a quick reminder to make sure you never miss an episode. Stay connected with us by following us on social media platforms, Instagram, Twitter, Threads, TikTok at Chris_Salerno_. And don't forget to subscribe to YouTube to catch the video versions of our episode. You'll get exclusive content, behind the scenes footage, and much more. Head over to YouTube, Chris_Salerno now, and hit the subscribe button. Stay tuned because we've got more great content coming right after this.
So yeah, I mean the 20 unit. So then we've actually since then sold those.
Nice.
I don't know if you want me to go through some
Yeah,
of them.
yeah. How was the underwriting when you first did that?
Dude, I was a genius underwriter.
I bet you learned a lot.
Yeah, we learned a lot. I mean, so I like multifamily. I don't really like multifamily.
Yeah, I don't like it anymore.
Probably a rare one.
I don't like it anymore.
Okay.
And I can tell you why, but you go.
Yeah, it's basically we bought it thinking it's going to cash flow. It never did. We just sunk our money back into it. Yeah. Now, thankfully, since we bought it in 2016,
sold for a profit.
They appreciated like crazy.
Correct. I always say multifamily is a game playing Monopoly. It is 100% for appreciation.
Or hot potato.
Correct. and you definitely, the past 2 years, you don't want to be holding a potato.
Yeah.
Multifamily, though, is a asset class that is not a cash flowing asset class. And what I mean by cash flowing, I mean 2 to 5%. That's what it cash flows. If it's over 5%, you're lucky from what I've looked at. Other than that, it's 2 to 5% in your average cash flow. To me, through my experience, and we bought a little over $450 million worth of multifamily, we still hold about half in our portfolio, is that we are out of multifamily. We're holding it, and we're going to sell whenever the appreciation is right.
Yeah.
We're going to go ahead and sell and get out completely because it does not cash flow.
Yeah.
Now, if you are looking for tax benefits, it's great.
Yeah.
I found an
taxes
you don't
in
pay
years.
tax. I don't either. I found an asset class in car washing that has higher tax benefits.
That's even better.
Even better. So plus it cash flows even more because it's a quote unquote business. Yeah. And so I said, it's a no-brainer. Why would we even get back into multifamily? Because these car washes cash flow higher, give higher tax benefits for our investors. So it doesn't even make sense.
I guess, will they appreciate as much? Or
Yes.
Is that like a cap on it? I don't know.
No, so they
probably not. They probably appreciate just as much or more.
They do because it's based off of revenue of the business.
Yeah.
Obviously, the business is revenuing at a higher amount. than a multifamily would, depending on the size of multifamily asset. So you can actually sell for a higher EBITDA when it comes to it because you're growing the business over time. Plus, you have that steady reoccurring revenue of your memberships, which is huge. And that's why private equity loves it. That's why we love the car wash sector. But yeah, multifamily does not cash flow. It's 100% for appreciation. So if you're looking for wealth, long-term building, park it in multifamily and expect a 10 to 15 year hold period. I think
why not just do, I like my single families.
Yeah. You're doing a lot of development now, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Talk to us about that because I follow you on social media. I see the development you're doing. You're doing nice houses. It looks like in a perfect.
Probably what we should have talked about 30 minutes ago.
It's all right. We'll dive into it. It looks like it's at that perfect price point where these things are going to be flying off the market if they haven't already.
So about almost 2 years ago, I was looking, okay, how do I buy more single families? Because like I was just saying, I like them. They steady, their cash flow, they still appreciate. You can get loans on them.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I had a few friends that were building and selling. Some were building and keeping, whatever. But just spec homes, just entry level, 250 or 230 to 300,000, maybe a little higher. But entry level spec homes. And I just couldn't figure out how to partner with them to keep some. So I was like, all right, I don't know how to find the land, who's going to be the lender, or who the builder will be, but I'm going to start building.
You like to take action and then figure it out after.
I'm very much ready, fire, aim.
That's how I am.
And so the next day, I talked to one of my friends, Greg, who's now my business partner, and told him, hey, this is what I want to do. And he was like, dude, let's do it together. And he actually had some experience in building and a bunch of flips, and so we partnered.
Yeah.
But we still didn't have. He did have a lender, but we still had to find a builder and obviously find the land.
Oh, for sure.
So it's been a fun journey. We've let's see. I wrote down the numbers so I'd have them.
There we go.
We've in the last 2 years, nothing insane, but I think it's pretty good. We've sold 15, and we have 3 under contract, 4 if you count the duplex, 2 units, but it's sold as 1. And then we have 11 being built. So 30 total. From going from I don't know what I'm doing to figuring it out. We've got a good builder we love.
That in 2 years, and now you're building 11 ground up?
Yeah,
that's
huge.
Are
in the process of being
built. So how quickly did you go through contractors? Because I will tell you.
We found one.
That is hard.
We found one, and we've stuck with them.
Wow. You got lucky.
Yeah.
You got real lucky.
They're just built for investors. And that's where I talked to a bunch of contractors, talked to a bunch of builders, but since I had talked to my friends, I knew where the price point needed to be. So let's say
price per square foot,
$110 a foot.
Yeah.
Versus, and most of the builders were $135. Some guy was like, I can build them for $200. I'm like, well, that doesn't work. That's a $400,000 house. I need these to be $150. What do you mean, dude?
Wow.
So I just kind of went through the builders until we found one that worked. But these guys are set up for investors.
And for those individuals that are not too familiar with building, talk to us about 110 per square foot, including labor. Including materials. What does that all include?
So that $110 a foot, and that's a round number. It could be higher, whatever. But that's just the build cost. That doesn't count buying the land. That doesn't count grading or clearing or bringing in dirt if you have to, or if you have to put in a pump, whatever. Then it gets higher. So there's a lot of things that can get higher. If you have to put in a crawl space, it gets much higher. Which we ran into. We bought some pretty steep lots. I didn't know. Remember the Ready, Fire, Aim? We bought them, and I was like, I don't know.
Oh, shit. Got to make it work.
That's a hill, but we can build on it, right? We did, but it was $30,000 over budget.
Wow.
For a couple of houses. But what I've liked about it is there's other investments that I've done that I've lost my face.
Yeah.
Whereas these, we messed up and lost $5,000 on one, but we made 20 on another.
Yeah.
We lost $10,000 on one, but we made 10 on another.
Oh, yeah.
So it was over the first 8 we bought, we still made money, but we learned so much.
Oh, I bet.
It was insane.
How is dealing with the beautiful politics of the city? Because obviously depending on what city you're in, municipality, it is rough.
Yeah. So we haven't had a ton of trouble. We've built a lot out in Gaston County, which is just west of Charlotte.
Got it.
For anybody that doesn't know.
Which that play for those that don't know,
smaller.
Charlotte's getting so expensive that everyone's going to the outskirts.
Yeah,
they're going to Mint Hill, Matthews, Belmont, Gastonia.
Belmont's expensive.
Belmont's outrageous. I mean,
they have
I was gonna say they have $1 million homes left and right.
Yep.
In Belmont.
Yeah,
which is wild.
I saw some. It's just dirt, and they're already pre-sold $1.5 million homes.
That's
Wait
crazy.
a minute, we're not even pre-selling our $250,000.
That's wild.
I mean, it's a different buyer, I guess.
Oh yeah, very much so. So you found a niche out there, which I think is great because Charlotte's getting outpriced. I mean, I see some townhouses for $1.5 million in Charlotte, and I'm like,
crazy.
I stomach it. I'm like, I don't think I could buy a townhouse for 1.5.
Yeah,
I don't think I can. I'd rather go buy land for $200,000-$300,000 and build a house for another $1 million or 1.1 and call it a day.
Right.
You know,
but to live in a certain spot, I guess
it's all about location. Yeah. All about location.
Yeah. So most of ours are what we call infill lots, where they're usually already subdivided. Some we might already have to divide into two. That's where you get into dealing with the city and with setbacks, and is the lot wide enough. We've had some where it was supposed to be 100 feet wide to split it in half, so it'd be 50, and it was 99 feet and like 6 inches.
And they said no.
And we're like, whoa, what do we do?
Really?
So we've had to overcome some obstacles like that.
Talk to me how you gain the knowledge, because developing is a whole different animal, than just buying real estate and fixing it up.
I'll ask.
Yeah.
You're
not afraid to look.
I'm not afraid to look stupid.
Yeah. Yes. A lot of people think they're going to look stupid by asking a question. Just ask the damn question.
I try not to look stupid, but like if I need to, I'll ask. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll ask somebody else that's not on the chain. Hey, what was that? What did they say?
What did that mean? Yeah.
Or I'll just say, sorry, I'm learning this, but what is that? Yeah.
And I think the big thing too is the individuals that are giving you that speech or the city council, whatever, they respect it more.
Yeah.
Saying, hey, look, like I'm new to this. Can you please help educate me on it, just so I'm aware?
They don't mind.
No,
they're usually very helpful, especially in the smaller towns.
Oh yeah,
they're much more receptive. The Charlotte, it takes a little bit longer, and there's a lot more people involved. So we are building 2 duplexes in Charlotte.
Okay.
But they'll be sold as townhomes, but those will be $400 per side.
Wow.
And they're just somewhere over near the airport.
Okay, that's nice. That whole area is growing.
It is growing.
It's growing substantially.
And even just that street, there's bunch of other duplexes going up in townhomes.
So do you feel you're going to stick with the development?
Yeah.
Thankfully, you're in a beautiful city, Charlotte, which is growing substantially. Did you know next year, 2025, there's 20,173 units coming online, multifamily units?
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
20,000.
That's wild.
Yeah. CRE Daily posted it. I believe.
What was it like last year? Or the
it was
before,
from. It was from Marcus and Millichap. I believe last year was like 12,000, or 2024. I believe it was like 12,000, 12 or 13.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but next year it's over 20,000.
That's a big jump.
Huge. So everyone needs a place to live.
Yeah, and a lot of people are moving to Charlotte, and so I get
a lot of people are moving to Charlotte. Yeah. So do you foresee yourself staying in the single family building?
I think so. We do. We have looked at some. I don't know what I'd call smaller, mid-size, whatever, 20 unit townhomes or 35. We've looked at some of them and just haven't kind of made those work. But those are harder. One, in my head, I feel that it's more risk because, like, if the one lot goes south and we lose 10 grand, okay. If 35 goes south, it's 350. Yeah. And it's a lot of time and a lot of energy to lose 350. That'd be terrible.
Yeah, most definitely.
But we probably will stick with some of the single families, duplex, whatever, and then get some bigger ones.
I love that.
Also the other thing is if it's just raw land, let's say 2 acres, and you're going to put 25 townhomes on there, you have to put the sewer and the water and roads and whatever, and so that there's different most lenders won't lend on that, so it's a little harder to break into. You have to get either private lenders or private, bring people on as equity. Yeah. So I think we've got some stuff in place to be able to do that. But that's one other barrier to entry, I guess, with the stepping it up.
That's good. That's good. Where do you foresee yourself on the development side? Do you want to start clearing 20, 30 homes a year?
Yeah. Well, I feel like we're already at 20.
Yeah.
So our goal is to get to 50.
50 homes a year.
Yeah.
Wow, that's huge.
Yeah. So I don't know. We said it from the beginning, and we're like, oh, we got to this point. So all right, let's just set a goal. Let's go for 20.
Let's do it.
we're right now setting up the marketing. We've done all that we've done getting from other builders or from wholesalers or on the MLS. So we're going to start doing what's called direct to seller.
Yep.
So, marketing, mailers or texts
Love
or
that.
whatever.
Love that.
Which I've never done. My business partner's done.
Yeah.
He did it for his flips and wholesale stuff.
Oh, that's perfect.
So, but it's a whole nother business. I didn't realize
It's a
it.
whole different world.
You understand it with the syndicating, but
it is a whole different world.
it's like we might as well set up a new business name and put everything under.
Well, that's what I've done.
Good.
Yeah, and we run all of our car washes and everything through that marketing agency.
Yeah.
It just makes sense to do it that way.
So like I texted him on the way here, hey, get that CRM, get Resimply so we can get the website set up and
get it running.
Get some signs, because that's what somebody pointed out. Hey, you need to have signs in front of all the houses, because right now they're calling 100%. Your builder.
Yeah.
They need to call you. I was like, oh my gosh.
No, it's so true. So true. How are you financing this? How is the debt market? How are you doing?
So far we've had one lender that lends 80 to 90%, and then either I cover the rest or we've had other personal just investors. That'll either second lien or just a second loan. But it's usually like, let's say $200,000 the build cost, so $180,000 loan, and then we need 20 or 30 to cover the rest.
And so you raise that from family, friends?
Or other investors.
Nice. Do you syndicate these?
No, we haven't.
No, you haven't. Just all in an LLC. Nice.
I could see something like that with a bigger one.
Like a 40 or 50. Community.
Where it's going to cost $2 to $3 million just for the base without anything vertical.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, the developers that just do the ground, essentially the horizontal, they make pretty good money.
It seems like it.
Yeah, I mean I've talked to a couple. They're crushing.
They have a ton of cash.
They have to. I assume so.
Yeah.
And running into a lot of regulations, things like that.
Yeah.
So you're a wonderful father of multiple children.
Yeah.
3 kids. And 3 kids and a beautiful wife. How do you stay healthy, my friend?
It's a lot of our focus. My wife and I we're constantly reading or listening to podcasts, or I don't know. Our middle child's had a bunch of different medical issues or whatever challenges. So that definitely we've talked to different of her doctors to learn different stuff. What's that most recent book? The Good Energy book.
I haven't heard of that one.
It's pretty popular now, but it's all about
Spark note.
What are some good foods? What are some bad foods? What are different things to do or not do? What are different markers for weight or waist size or triglycerides? Some of the stuff that I don't really understand. But she goes through in that book.
What I was shocked about is that if you ask any doctor when they go through med school, it's like less than 5% they learn about nutrition. And how's that right? It's not right. And over the past year, I've been taking my health to a whole new level.
Nice.
I only drank out of glass bottles. Everything in our house is strictly organic, grass-fed. No preservatives whatsoever, and that goes for even it's very difficult. That goes for even little snacks he makes. I make him for school and things like that.
That's good.
Everything we are grass-fed, all organic. And my thing is I don't mind paying the extra money. Like I drank Mountain Valley water. It's pretty damn expensive. I'm not gonna lie. But I don't mind paying that because I don't pay for health insurance. And I'm out. I've never been to I can't remember last time I've been to the doctor.
That's awesome.
I honestly can't.
Like
I'm very, very healthy. I take vitamins, things like that. So
you're getting a Whoop?
I'm getting a Whoop.
I think it's huge. So I have the Coros.
Is that similar?
It's a running watch.
Okay, so it's mainly for running.
So I bought it because last year I ran a marathon.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
It was something to do. I had wanted to run a marathon since I was younger, and I was like, well, I'm not getting any younger, so let me just run it now.
Love that.
And so I just, from April to November, trained and ran it.
I love that.
But anyway, so I got the watch, and so it has the heart rate variability on there, and I watch that. So for anybody that doesn't know, heart rate variability is the time in between your heartbeats.
Got it.
This is she actually explains it in that Good Energy book.
And do you want longer or shorter?
So you want it to be variable. So let's say you've got 60 heartbeats, 60 beats per minute, right? Every in between each one, you don't want it to be 1 because that would be not variable. Apparently, if the heart rate variability is higher, that's better. I think what she said was it's like your body is more adaptive, more able to adjust for whatever.
No way.
Yeah.
So I was on a call yesterday with an investor, and we were before the call. I always like to get to know our investors personally, and we were talking about the Whoop band. I was telling him about it, and he said that his friend actually, the Whoop band, told him he had COVID before he actually had COVID.
That's wild.
Based off of the heart rate availability and how everything's fluctuating. And he ended up going to the doctor, and the doctor's like, yes, you have it.
That's crazy.
So before he even had it, he noticed something was off.
His heart rate was low.
Yeah, so he went into the doctor, and they're like, yeah, you have COVID.
That's cool. That's crazy.
And this was like right in 2020.
Which then helps to like get everything healthy or take vitamins at that point.
Most definitely.
That's
why I want it, because I want to see, okay, under cold plunges, under hard workouts, under meditation, under sex, like like how does it perform?
Yep.
I want to get more granular with it. I'm even looking into stem cell rejuvenation.
Yeah.
So taking my stem cells now before I turn 30, and then when I turn 40 and 50, start using those stem cells, my younger stem cells, to help me, preserve my aging and preserve my body for the future.
Yeah. That's funny,
I think more people are waking up on health.
Yeah.
And it's good.
Yep. It is good.
Yeah, especially with JFK now.
Make America healthy again.
Why not?
Right.
I mean,
and that's what the Good Energy Cali, I forget her name. Anyways, the people that those authors,
and it's a kid's book.
No.
Oh, it's just a regular book.
It's a regular book. It's,
okay.
I don't know.
Called Good Energy.
Good Energy.
I'm gonna have to listen to it.
She was on like the panel or something with JFK
was she?
When they had some sort of meeting.
I'm gonna have to, and it's called Good Energy. I'm gonna have to listen to it.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot, and I think this previous administration's really opened eyes up to how corrupt the government is.
Yeah.
I also think it's opened their eyes up to how unhealthy the government is.
Yeah.
With all these other countries like Italy, all of Europe, they are very, very healthy.
Yeah.
They, non-GMOs, even Russia. Russia's extremely healthy. I have a friend who went to Russia a couple months ago. He's Russian, came over during the was born during the Soviet Union, and he came over, or he went back to visit a couple months ago. And I had cigars with him at Vintage after. I said, how was it? And he was showing me pictures and all this. He said, Chris, United States media portrays Russia to be a terrible, quote unquote, North Korea type of dictatorship. He says everyone is happy, everyone is healthy. The food is unbelievably tastes phenomenal, and it's healthy. He says everything is clean. He says the technology is so advanced. He says, if you go 10 miles over the speed limit, I'm glad we don't have this over here. Yeah. Not saying I speed, but he said over there, if you go 10 miles over the speed limit, you automatically get a text message of your ticket. You can either pay it right then and there or fight it, because he says there's cameras everywhere.
That's crazy.
Yeah. He says there's cameras everywhere. You can't get he says it is so safe over there because of the tolerance level of crimes is so high. Yeah. I mean, it's unbelievable. They don't put up with anything. So he says there's basically zero crime over there.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I mean, I read this morning, the woman, where was she? I think in Japan, who committed that $44 billion fraud scheme. Okay. She's on the death penalty.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. She's serving death. I
hadn't heard that.
Yeah. She's serving death because of that.
That's wild.
Yeah, they are very serious. Imagine if the United States did that.
Yeah. There'd be a couple people that should be dead right now.
Oh, my God, yeah. Even for some insider trading.
Yeah.
Not naming names, but I think we all know who.
Yeah.
I think that right there.
That's crazy.
It's unbelievable. So
health.
yes. Going back to health.
I've been doing the cold plunge, the cold showers. I think one of the biggest things that has helped me in the last year is either doing some fasting or just not eating close to bedtime.
Okay, so you don't
with
eat
my
close
heart
to
rate
bedtime.
variability, I try to eat dinner closer to 5 p.m.
Do you?
Sometimes it stretches towards 6, which I know still isn't late.
See, I'm pretty bad about that. Like, because of my work schedule and I work out, like I'll eat 8 or 9, but I'll go to bed at like 12.
Yeah, and you'll see when you get your Whoop that whatever your heart rate variability is, and then give it a day where you don't eat 5 hours before bedtime.
Yeah,
I would almost bet that it'll be higher, unless you just got beat up in the gym or something.
Really? And higher's the better.
Higher's better.
Got it. Interesting.
So that's what I've seen is that my fasting more often, and then just not eating closer to bedtime.
How do you and your wife implement healthy eating with your children? Because one thing with like,
it's hard.
I grew up with goldfish. Yeah, and I'm sure you did too.
Yeah,
gotta love.
That's when my kids are like, well, why can't we eat that? If
I know.
You did. I'm like, yeah, but my gut's been messed up the last 35 years.
I gotta love goldfish. Well, about a year and a half ago, I've always told the story. I looked at the ingredients and it says bioengineered chemicals, and I said, I don't remember reading that when I had goldfish.
I mean, I don't remember reading any of it. But
but that's like, and I start reading everything. And no, I had to be a couple years.
I don't think Pop-Tarts were that bad.
No. And everything now says bioengineered chemicals on it. So some bill must have passed, thankfully, they didn't notify us about it.
Right.
But some bill must have passed where it says, okay, they now have to put that on there. But once I saw that, I cleaned house.
Yeah.
I cleaned house, and I found I shopped at Thrive Market, where they deliver to your door. Yeah. And then I go to Costco, but I definitely like Thrive, staying away from seed oil, sunflower oil, all that.
That's another thing, is the seed oil.
It's huge. And really looking at healthy alternatives for my son, which thankfully he loves it.
That's good.
And what I do for me, and I want to hear what you guys do, is I give him it, and I'm like, try it. And thankfully he loves trying it, and I'm like, look, you can spit it out if you don't like it. So he'll try it and goes, that's good. And then I say, that's healthy. Yeah. And then he's like, now it registered that is good and it's healthy, compared to say, hey, come eat something healthy. They're going to automatically say, no, I don't want it. Yeah. That's what I figured out.
Yeah. I think our best thing is just either not having it in the house.
Yeah.
Or making some sort of, my wife made a rule, hey, no sweets on weekdays. But then they feel entitled on the weekends. Well, it's a weekend. We need a dessert. And I'm like, no, that's not the truth. Yeah. But at least it does help, because they were having candy every day.
Unbelievable.
It's unbelievable how much sugar they get, sugar candy at school and friends and at home. And if you want to treat them, you want to take care of kids and
correct. You don't want to be crazy. And I'm not crazy to my son. Yeah, I still let him have chocolate, but I limit his intake of chocolate. I limit his intake. Like, we don't eat Cheetos. We eat alternative of like Cheetos, which I've tried them. They taste very similar, but they're just a healthier version. Right. It's not
Siete chips.
Yeah, like it's just a healthier version. So I think, yes, you have to change your lifestyle. It's definitely a discipline and a mental thing. Yeah. But like, I'm taking them to New York City in 2 weeks. Yes, we're gonna have New York City pizza. Yeah. I'm watching my carb intake and my dairy intake, but I'm going to have a bagel with them. Yeah. I'm gonna sit down in New York City and have a bagel.
You're also gonna be walking.
Correct. We're gonna be walking everywhere. So I think it's important to at least have them try that, because if not, when they turn 18, they're gonna go crazy.
Yeah. That's where I hope that we're instilling that. Like, the trouble that I wonder is, like, are we instilling like everything's bad and they're just gonna go off the deep end, like whatever.
Go off the hinge.
If everything's bad, then we're just gonna eat whatever we want.
Yeah,
but
I don't think they will.
I don't think so. No. I think we're instilling in them, like, work out, eat healthy, don't eat all the time, don't overeat, things like that.
And again, I think more people are realizing it. Like, more people are watching their health and what they put into their system now.
Yeah, that's good.
Which is phenomenal. A lot of there are bars out there that are mocktail bars, no alcohol bars. Huh. Yeah, because that's a lot of people have stopped drinking.
Yeah, that's wild.
Hey, we'll see how it is. I love what you're doing with the children. Love what you're doing in the real estate space. Where do you see 2025 and 2026 and beyond for you?
I do set goals, but it is always hard, because I'm like, wow, we did a lot in the last year. We traveled all these places. And we did all the, I didn't plan on building all this, and now we did. And the kids grow and move and so fast. So, like I said, with the development, the plan is to move to 50 lots, whether we, build 50 lots, whether we do that this year or next year. Like, I'm not pressured by it. It's not a die-hard goal. It's just like, let's just do that. That'd be fun.
Love that.
Then we'll make more money than we need, and we can do whatever we want with it.
I love it.
That's fun.
Love it. I think the previous couple years has opened up a lot of people's eyes to multifamily and showed, hey, this is not a cash flow. You can't flip it in 12 to 14 months like you used to in 2016 to 2020 when cap rate compression and everyone was gung-ho about it. This is going to be a 10 to 15-year play. Yeah. And the ones that are staying in are okay with 10 to 15 years. The ones that pivoted, like us, we want higher cash flow. Yeah. And I think a lot of people are seeing that too.
Yeah. So. And that's like, I'm selling 2 of my single families because they're just older, and so they were cash flowing okay. But I'm like, well, I can sell it, and then I can just invest in the developing.
Yeah.
and lend it to myself or whatever, and then grow the funds that way. So instead of higher cash flow, or just private lending, 12 to 15%.
Yeah,
is much better cash flow than I was getting on the property.
A lot of people are doing that these days.
So that's kind of my where I'm going. All right, let's go business wise, development, and just I don't know. I want to buy and keep some of these new ones. Yeah. But then I also see, lending is easier. Yeah. And I don't have to deal with tenants or hiring a property manager.
You make good money lending.
And it's good.
Are you first? You like first position back by real estate?
Not always, but
you'll do second.
Yeah. When I'm lending to my own business.
Well, yeah. When you lend to your own business.
That makes it easier.
I mean, I've known some people that do like 8th and 10th, and I'm like,
10th lien?
Yeah. I'm like,
position, I mean?
How the hell do you do? I don't understand it. I don't understand the numbers. They'll do 10th.
I mean, I guess there's got to be a lot of equity there. Maybe, hopefully.
Well, some of this is not even backed by real estate.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's wild.
I don't know. I can't make the numbers make sense. That's why I'm not in it.
That's wild.
Hey, Philip, I really enjoyed you coming on. I appreciate your time. Excited to see your growth health-wise and also business-wise here in 2025. We only have about 3.5 more weeks left, which is wild.
I'm hitting it hard. As Ed Milet says, separation season.
Yeah. Let's go. Do not let off that gas pedal. I'm excited to see it. I appreciate you coming on, my friend. Yeah, thanks
for
so
having
much.
me. Yeah. Appreciate it.
Thank you for tuning in to the Chris Salerno Show. We hope you enjoyed today's episode and gained valuable insight to help you along your journey. Don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform. If you have any questions or topics that you would like to cover, feel free to reach out directly to me. Shoot me a message on Instagram at Chris_Salerno_. Until next time, keep pushing forward and stay inspired.